DB here, and it is Masters Week, and I'm talking three long shot outrights, maybe some top 20s that I think are going a little under the radar and, could win. Is it likely? No, it's not. Okay, it's not likely. The last time we saw a major bomb outright win the Masters was in 2016 when Danny Willett won at 150 to 1. And you know what? You know who had him on the ticket? This guy. Bet him in November, and then he turned around and won at 151 in April. It can happen. It hasn't happened lately. We've seen a lot of 30 to 1, 25 to 1 and shorter. Obviously, the favorites like Scheffler, these guys winning, of course, right? There's a lot of big names, big studs up there, but you don't need guys like me to put you on a guy like that, right? If for some crazy reason one of those studs doesn't win and some long shot does, you're going to be like, well, why didn't anybody tell me about that guy? All right, well, that's what I'm here for. So I got three names that I think have legitimate potential. The first one's at 80 to 1. The next one's at 100 to 1. And the last one is at 120 to 1 as of this recording. Now, two of these guys are playing in the Valero Texas Open. And the Valero Texas Open has not started yet. But I'm trying to get this out early because I think these guys will be numbers that will shorten. Now, there's some other long shots in the mid-range, that 30 to 55, 60 to 1 that I like. But I don't know that those are truly going to shorten that much. Whereas I could see, especially the two guys playing the Valero, I could see if they have a good week, these numbers get much shorter, and you're going to wish you hit them earlier. Okay. So let's start with the first one. It is Corey Connors at 80 to 1. Yes, that Corey Connors. You're like, DB, are you serious? Corey Connors has only won one golf tournament in his life. It was the one he Monday qualified for at the Valero like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years, however long ago that was. Are you crazy? He hasn't won a PGA Tour event since. I know. And you know what? Thankfully, I've not lost a lot of money betting on Corey Connors over the years because I haven't really been convinced he's going to win. But there is something about Corey Connors and Augusta National. I can tell you that because this boy loves him some Augusta National. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But this is his player page on Fantasy National. I mean, what do we know about Corey Connors? We know he's an absolute ball striking stud. We know that he can't putt worth a crap. Okay, but thankfully he's not terrible when it comes to bent grass. Does he lose strokes? Yes, but it's not terrible. He plays well in average to difficult scoring conditions, which is what we're going to get here. He plays all right in wind, moderate. It doesn't matter. He's a ball striker. He's a stud, right? Look at this long-term and short-term off the tee and approach strokes gained on Corey Connors is usually very, very solid. Now, you don't have the match play in here, but he actually did pretty well in the match play. He went 2-1 in his group. He only lost to Cam Young, who was on fire and made it to the finals. Lost to Sam Burns, who I had on the card at 50 to 1. A lot of you tailed. Good for you. But he was 2-1, only lost to Cam Young. He gained over 3 strokes ball striking. And when I say 3 strokes ball striking, that is combining strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained approach. So it's not tee to green because tee to green includes around the green play if you're new. So ball striking is that, the full swing ball striking, baby. I want to see who's hitting it off the tee and on approach well. He gained over 3 strokes ball striking in those 3 matches at the match play. Also gained over a stroke putting, which is Corey Connors' key. Okay. What has kept him back from winning more golf tournaments is that he can't putt. And he can ball strike the heck out of it, but if you can't get the ball in the hole, you're having problems, right? But the putter is starting to do, it's kind of bucked his head here. Listen, if Corey Connors is just neutral and he's not losing strokes, he's fine. I mean, look at him here, losing 3.5, losing 3.8, losing 8 strokes putting. My God. Okay. If he's just neutral, but here he is, here, he's gained strokes, players, he lost strokes. Dell match play, which isn't listed, he gained strokes. So 3 of his last 4 events, he's gained strokes putting. Now, again, I don't have the Valero. They haven't teed off yet. Who knows what he does with the Valero? But let's talk about his Masters record. Here's a guy that in his first Masters missed the cut. Normal. That's going to happen. Next Masters, what does he do? He makes the cut. Finishes 46th. Also, fairly normal. Then what does he do? He finishes 10th in the 2020 Masters, which is in November. And I kind of throw it out. Like, it's fine, but I kind of throw it out. What does he do the next 2 years? He finishes 8th in 2021, and he finishes 6th in 2022. His last 2 finishes. I want to focus on the last 2 years of Corey Connors' Masters performances in 2021 and 2022 when he finished 8th and 6th. This is what happened. He had 4 subpar rounds and 1 par round in 8 rounds. So he had 5 total rounds at par or better in the last 8 in the last 2 years. That's hard to do at Augusta. The only names to beat him in the last 2 years, to have beaten him at least one of those 2 years, Colin Morikawa, Cam Smith, Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Rose, John Rahm, Mark Leishman, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, Willie Zalatoris, and Hideki Matsuyama. Those are the only names. Only names. And those names didn't beat him every year. They just beat him at least one of the 2 years. Those are all some names, right? When you think of Corey Connors, like, this is freaking good. He gained 3.97 strokes ball striking at Augusta the last 2 years, and he was neutral putting, not losing a bunch of strokes, not losing 4 strokes like I just showed you a couple minutes ago. Neutral putting. He likes these bent grass putting surfaces at Augusta. He does well on them. And he hits the ball so good because he hits it so straight. He doesn't get in a lot of trouble. He's long enough. His irons are fantastic, which is key here at Augusta. In 2021, he led the field in strokes gained approach. 2021, nobody hit it better on approach than Corey Connors in 2021. Last year, he was 18th. So the last 2 years, first and 18th in probably arguably the most important metric of all in success. Now, with any winner, with any potential long shot, there's always something that typically doesn't go right that has to go right for them to win. And obviously it's putting with Corey Connors. So that's what we're looking for. But he's at 80-1 right now on DraftKings is the best number I see it. I'd bet him all the way. I would bet him at 65-1. I'd bet him at 60-1 probably, to be honest with you. Top 20, there's none out there right now, but I would imagine, remember, this is only like an 88 player field, 89 person field. And when I count the 7 amateurs, the 5 old heads, and a few other irrelevants, you're really only talking about 75, and I'm being generous with some irrelevants that are on live. You're really only talking about 75 guys that you got to finish ahead of to win or to place. So a top 20 number for him, I would probably definitely hit. If it's at 2-1 or longer, be on the lookout. Let's talk about the next name. Before we do, I got to tell you people to get up in the Albatross on Underdog Fantasy. They've got the Albatross. It's a best ball tournament for the majors. It starts with Augusta. So if you miss it here, you're going to hate yourself, okay? Get in the Albatross. It's only $10 per entry, 150 max entries. It's legal in a bunch of states. And it's got a $500,000 prize pool, $100,000 to first. Like I said, this is just for the majors. The best thing is you can do the draft and then you're done. You're going to draft 10 players and then you're done. You don't have to set a roster. You don't have to manage players. You don't have to do anything. You're just going to draft the best 10 players that you think are going to have the best major championship season in 2023. And then the top 6 scores are going to count for every major, and you're going to advance or not based on your draft. So the Albatross is the thing that you got to do. Here are the states where it's legal. Everywhere that you see yellow or gray, the Albatross best ball draft is legal. And then they also have the pick'em side of things, which is also incredible. That's legal everywhere except the gray and the black. So Underdog Fantasy, the best place to go. They're investing in golf over there, which I love. There's a link in the description of the video and podcast. You can sign up with our link if you don't already have an account. And you also get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So join us. We talk about every single round on the PGA Tour and majors. We do a pick'em for Underdog. We're going to do some best ball content. So get in there and get involved. All right. Next bet. This guy's been a popular name lately because he bucked his head at the Players, and I think he made himself known. But he bucked his head at the Masters long before that. And I don't have a lot of data on him because we don't have a lot of data on him. But it's Minwoo Lee. Minwoo Lee is still 100-1 if you can access Caesars Sportsbook right now. I'm finding him on a larger scale book, FanDuel. He's at 75-1. I like both numbers. I'm gonna like the 100-1 number, but I'll take him at 75-1. I'll probably take him at 70-1, maybe 65, but I'm probably not going beyond that. Okay. Not as much experience as maybe a Corey Connors would have here. We know Augusta does tend to favor experience, but he did play here for the first time last year, finished 14th. And what did he do? He tied the record for the lowest round in history on the first 9 with a 30. This boy can go low. I walked inside the ropes with his group at the Players Championship and saw it with my own freaking eyeballs. This dude hits it a mile. His game is so good. Now, he makes a lot of birdies, but he also makes a lot of big numbers. He's got to keep the big numbers off the card. Got to. But he is a weapon. He will be a weapon at Augusta National. He had 2 rounds of par or better in the 4 rounds he played last year. This guy's a 2-time DP World Tour winner. He was the 2016 U.S. Junior Amateur Champion. He was T3 in 2017 for the Asia Pacific Amateur. He's a stud. He's from Australia. T6 at the Players, as I just mentioned, T21 at the Open Championship at St. Andrews last year, and T27 at the U.S. Open in Boston, there at Brookline. Unbelievable resume last year. T14 Masters, T27 U.S. Open, T21 at the Open, T6 at the Players. How's that? Those are the strongest fields in golf, and he's a stud, and he is coming. He's a bomber, and he can roll the rock. The irons get a little shaky for Min-Woo Lee, but he's one you need to be paying attention to, and people are going to be betting him. He's going to get bet down. So pay attention to Min-Woo Lee. Like I said, right now he's 100-1 on Caesars, 75 on FanDuel. If he gets shorter than 65, I don't know that it's the most optimal bet. So maybe pivoting to him in a top 20 market. Definitely, I would also hit him at 2-1 even. I would hit him at 2-1 or longer as a top 20. I really would. I think this kid he's obviously can do it. He did it last year. So if he's 2-1, if him or Corey Connors are 2-1 or longer top 20, I would take it. Again, there's really 75 players legitimately, and then some of those are debatable. All right. Let's get to the very last name at 120-1 currently on FanDuel, which is the best number. I see him a lot of other places at 80-1, which I'm actually completely fine with. Honestly, if you're talking about like gun to my head, if you played 1,000 Masters championships, which one of these 3 guys is going to win first out of the 3? I would probably say this guy. I really would, because he's done it. He's been a winner more times than anybody here of this 3-name list, right? It's Siwoo Kim. And hold on, if you're a fan of the Tour Junkies, you know we love Siwoo Kim. He's amazing. But there's a lot of reason to like Siwoo Kim. There is a lot of reason to like Siwoo Kim. Let's take a look at his player card first and see what he does well, right? Well, he's terrible putting on Bermuda. Thankfully, this isn't Bermuda. So he's really good. He's better on bent. He's like Corey Connors. He's not going to, gain a lot of strokes putting. That's not what he does. But again, we just need him neutral putting. Really good in difficult conditions, good in moderate or windy conditions if the wind starts swirling here in Augusta. But I mean, look at the player overall. Like, this is a guy who does almost everything very well, both in the long term and in the short term. He has peak weeks, and he is a contender when he does. The putter is the only bugaboo. That's it. That's the bugaboo. That's the putter. Coming off a T27 at the Players, top 25s at Waste Management, Torrey, Amex, won the Sony Open. The guy's a 4-time PGA Tour winner, including here's his wins, including the 2017 Players Championship. I mean, talk about a Cinderella story. He won it like 500-1 or something. It was nuts. He won at the 2017 Players, strongest field in golf, tough golf course. He's, since then won 3 more times, right? Siwoo Kim is an absolute stud. I want to look at the Masters record. Here's what he's done at the Masters. First attempt, miscut. But then look at this. And I know there's no, the T12 in 2021 is the best finish. I know there's no top 10s. There's no top 5s. There's not a 6th and an 8th like Corey Connors. But this consistency matters. And it's records like this that then if we look back at past champions, then we see, oh, damn, then they won. Right? It's consistency. It's familiarity with the golf with the golf course. As you break down his Masters performances, 4 of the last 8. So again, looking at 2022 and 2021 specifically, 4 of the last 8 performances at Augusta have been par or better rounds. 10 of the last 16, and I'm throwing out 2020. 10 of his last 16 rounds at Augusta, par or better. You take that every day of the week. He was 12th in the field in 2022 last year in what? Strokes gained putting, which is kind of crazy for Siwoo, right? I just said he's not the only thing he hasn't done well notoriously is putt. But last year in 2022 at the Masters, 12th in the field, rolling the rock. He's perennially a good total driver of the ball. He's not super long. He's not going to hit it a mile, but he's long enough. He's a very good iron player, and he is very good around the greens, very underrated around the greens, and that's crucial at Augusta National. But to have a top putting performance last year in 2022, and then in 2021, he was second in the field in strokes gained approach, only to, guess what, Corey Connors. These things matter when it comes to playing Augusta National. And off the tee, he's trending as good as ever, which is great to see. And he has 4 top 15 finishes in major championships, with one being here at the Masters. Siwoo Kim, 120 to 1 on FanDuel, 80 to 1 pretty much everywhere else right now. I would take him at 60. I really would. I seriously would bet him at 60 to 1. I just think 4-time PGA Tour winner, one being the Players, to, he can do it if he's in it. If he's in it, he can get it done. And that's all you're looking for with these bombs. You're looking for guys who have proven they can close the door on a Sunday. They're not going to be intimidated by Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy. I'm a little worried about that with maybe Corey Connors, right? But Siwoo, I'm not worried about. Minwoo, I'm not worried about. So check these guys out. Again, if any of the three are 2 to 1 or longer for a top 20, I would take. Who knows what the DFS landscape is going to look like right now this early in the game? I don't know who's getting talked up, who's not. Siwoo and Corey Connors both playing in the Valero Texas Open. Depending on how they do, may raise or lower their odds and or ownership percentages expected in DFS, so pay attention to that. But these are all three guys I'm really bullish on for the 2023 Masters, really in any capacity. So there you go. Check out the Underdog contest. Get in the Albatross. The link is in the description if you need to sign up and join. But come join us in the $10 Best Ball Albatross contest, starting with Augusta, starting with the Masters. It's a lot of fun. If you do the 30-second, you can do a 30-second one, 30-second draft. Literally took me 13 minutes to do the whole draft the other day. 13 minutes. Or you can do the long one if you don't have time. There's like a 4-hour clock, and it just takes forever, and you can do that one if you want. All right? That's it. Tons of content on the Tour Junkies YouTube channel this week for Augusta, for the Masters. Thanks for checking it out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We do this stuff every single week on the PGA Tour, and we're making money doing it, y'all. We're crushing it, okay? Back-to-back 50 to 1 winners. Taylor Moore at the Valspar, Sam Burns at the Match Play. Who knows what's going to happen at Valero? We might hit a winner there too, all right? Good luck. May your screens be green. Bend over your bookies. See ya.